Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
What's the fuzz with Sharkie and Bronc?
Well, apparently it's round 7 in the NRL, and to dissect that and, Bronchi's beef and Sharkie's shambles, you know the formula, the format. G'day.
Well, good morning, Sharkie. Morning, everybody. Round 7, good grief. Usually by, round 7, round 8, things should have settled down, but I got my doubts that this season, more so than any other, we may be still looking around about round 10 before there's a settling period. Because, mate, some of what's happening is just out of this planet.
You're being generous. Round 10. I mean, first we've got to figure out what we're playing.
Yeah, possibly. Ammunition is not very hard to come by in this game. This year, more so than last year, more so than the year before. I mean, it never stops giving, but the problem seems to be that it doesn't seem to want to stop. And I'm presuming that one of your comments has got to be something about this new. Well, I don't know if it's new, but they've changed the name of interfering with the fullback, and not in a delightful way. I mean, more so in the professional way of fouling the fullbacks. And I forget what they call it now, but I've called it the lurking rule, that players, just sort of lurking around, not really contesting the ball, but not really interfering with anything or anybody, and being pinged for, such misdemeanors, and just figure it out for yourself. In that same area, which has really become so confusing, it appears now that the attacking side can attack the ball and tap it with one hand by tapping it backwards, apparently, where the two-handed catch was demanded, which became an absolute physical impossibility, because the laws of physics just don't allow a body to float through the air with two hands in the air, legs flying up in the air, and forward momentum without any balance becomes quite a worrying, disastrous proposition. So it appears now that a one-handed tap back is okay, but the poor bludger catching the ball's got to have two, so he's got no defence whatsoever. They didn't need more of these ridiculous rules, because they couldn't cope with the rule book as it was. Things are changing so quickly that I think we need to become more abreast of what the rules actually are, because it's quite apparent that we know the rules that have been going for 150,000 years, but they stopped just sort of putting them in the book 5 or 6 years ago, and it's got just a tad out of hand, and all in the sake of excitement and entertainment. And well, as one of the great commentators once said, it's turning into a game that is, once upon a time, was called rugby league football, the greatest game of all. But something's gone very badly amiss, Sharkie. And look, truly, it's becoming farcical to the degree that I don't know how the players can cope with all the crap that goes on. I mean, they must have to have sedatives. They wouldn't want to do a drug test after games, because I'm sure they have to have sedatives after a game, because win or lose, they must be going in there scratching their poor heads thinking, well, I don't know what happened that time, but anyway, we got the penalty, and I don't know why. Just because we need a fellow in the groin and in the throat and poke one eye out, and we got the penalty because he was encroaching in our area. Yeah, so
we noticed a cynical disruptor as well, so we got a penalty for that.
That's the one. That's the one. Yes. I call it the lurk.
Yes, I like that.
The disruptor. Yeah, wonderful, Sharkie. Truly.
Is that your beef?
Every week it's becoming, well, yeah, because every week it's becoming just, it's non-stop, and it's not good for the game. But the trouble is, at the moment, the game's doing itself in immense harm, and I'm just disappointed in that. The football itself is showing that, points blowouts are just, it shouldn't be like that. It beggars belief. It really does. But I don't know. I don't know where we go. And I know how to get out of it, but then again, that's illegal, so we can't do them up.
Well, I might be able to help shortly.
No way. No.
You get enough headaches, you go no-nos.
Yeah, too true, mate. Too true.
Now, I'm glad that, officially there's the Broncos beef. Well, let me just further extend into that, and nice little segue into Sharkie Shamble this week. We're on the same wavelength, surprise, surprise. I'll get to this cynical disruptor and the lurkers, etc. in a moment. I just want to let everyone know that in case they weren't aware, that in the off-season, and it's been happening for a little while now, we've got a committee of coaches. Sometimes they do the do-si-do and rotate around. What they do is they get together at the request of the commission, and they go for party pies and sausage rolls in summer, and they sit down and they advise what sort of rules need to be looked at. Volandis and co. I mean, can someone please ask if Junior Pearce is still awake these days? I mean, he's virtually the only bit of rugby league they've got on the commission, and he just seems to go with the flow and whatever is the flavour of the month from the Greek and co. Just someone check in on the welfare of Junior Pearce for me, because there doesn't seem to be a lot of solid rugby league decisions being made out of there. But anyway, getting back to these coaches, so to let you know, the current committee of coaches that advises the NRL Commission is Wayne Bennett, Craig Bellamy, Ricky Stewart, Craig Fitzgibbon and Ivan Cleary. Now, they last met on December 2 last year in summer about competition rule changes and officiating matters. This is a committee that's convened by the Australian Rugby League Commission. It's supposed to serve as a consultative body to advise on issues such as the role of the bunker, sin binning, and other potential rule changes. Now, let me just focus in on a moment about what they discussed last summer. Rule changes. Actively looking into addressing scoring blowouts. That's right, you heard it. Actively looking into addressing scoring blowouts.
All right, yep.
And potential rule overhauls to improve the quality of games.
Oh,
wow.
Right. I've missed some. I must be blacking out occasionally.
Can you believe this? Of course, now Slick, as we often refer to him here, Volandis, ticks off on what the commission ends up deciding. But we've got these coaches on this committee advising about what should happen year after year. Bronc, now, when I read out those names, you would assume that they're possibly 5 of the best coaches we've got currently in our game, all assembling for party pies and sausage rolls.
Yep.
And advising.
Speaking some sense.
That's right, and advising our commission to tick off on certain things that need to be addressed.
Yep.
So I'm not all that sure that we can now lay the complete blame at the foot of Mr. Volandis. It's got to be called into question the IQ of some of our best coaches in the game who have clearly contributed to this garbage and nonsense that we have so far seen in 6 rounds of football in 2026. I don't know what we're quite watching. I sent a message to you. I said, whatever this is, don't call it rugby league because it doesn't resemble anything we've seen since 1908. And every year we just seem to adjust, tweak, add absolute and utter nonsense. This is almost turning into touch football with some, passive vigour from time to time that's allowed. Look, basketball's a great game, great night out, but if I want to watch basketball, I will. We are almost getting to the stage where we're going to become so technical that it's going to be a shadow of itself. And while ever we've got people who just keep ramming down entertainment, ratings on TV, and the coffers looking nice and healthy as a way of legitimising this garbage that we're seeing on the football field, the hijacking of our game effectively, we're going to go down a very, very bad path. And if Volandis thinks that the fans are always going to be there in this fashion, when the fabric of the game is completely ruined, then he's got rocks in his head. And so do 5 of these coaches who better start backtracking quickly. In fact, get rid of this coaching committee. These coaches have got too much say already. They've completely stuffed the game, and we're in 6 weeks of a brand new competition. You and I don't even recognise the bloody thing.
Well, this is what gets me too, mate. The players must be so confused over some of these newer type rule changes. Sharkie, you're right. It's bewildering as to how the players, just what they do. Kick the ball in the air. Just let the fullback take the ball. And maybe when he takes the ball, he's got to go to ground and play the ball from that spot. Just no one goes near him. No one goes anywhere within cooey of him. When he catches the ball, he just falls on the ground and we play the ball from there. So then at least they'll know something.
The game's completely lost the plot.
It does your head in, Sharkie. It really does.
It really has. I want to read a quote.
Oh.
This is from a week ago.
Oh.
We're setting records. It just shows what we can do when the game is united. Well, that's your first fail.
Well,
the game is not. The players have lifted considerably in the adapting to the new rules. Oh, so we've got new rules. Okay. They're not tweaks anymore. There's official.
They're new rules.
The game has come together and produced pure entertainment, and the fans have voted with their feet. That's Peter Volandis. There's where the problems probably start and end, with a nice little mixture of party pies and sausage rolls in each summer with 5 knobheads. Because we're now addressing things in the game that didn't need addressing and creating complete and utter chaos. And in our game, we go to things that we don't need to, yet we can't notice a forward pass to save our lives. And there's teams every weekend getting away with 8, 9, 10 blatant forward passes that sometimes fair dinkum can go 3 metres forward.
It's sad. One of these days, somebody might just come to the fore with an idea that an independent, and I mean totally independent, mob get up and seek the thoughts of just the average Joe that parks his ass on the benches, on the seats, to have a look at the game of football, not coaches who obviously have a vexed interest. I mean, that's got to be the best conflict of interest in history. I mean, it's like coppers, investigating coppers, or, judges investigating judges. I mean, give us a break. Doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Listen, while ever we've got spin doctors running the game and they care about what they can sell a product for and keep calling it entertainment instead of running an elite sporting competition, which is what you're supposed to be doing first and foremost, we are going to continue to have problems in this game, and they're going to they're going to well and truly cook it until these people get turfed out, and you know who I'm talking about, or retire and move on, and we get some sort of sense of someone with some rugby league nous back in there who can, well, basically return the game to the core of what it's supposed to be. Then we're going to have to ride this out and wait for these people to leave our game, because at the moment they're doing irreparable damage.
Well, look, here's hoping they have, big screens in some of the institutions, because, I'm not too far off just booking in. They won't have to come and get me. I think I'll book in.
We'll have to organise the minibuses. I'll drive us. Straight through the front door. Round 7.
Round 7. Jesus.
We're back into the action. We've all got our fingers crossed. I mean, look, who knows what this week will throw up?
Well, Christ only knows.
Thursday night football, we're at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. It's the Cowboys at home to the Sea Eagles. It's $1.59 playing $2.36, 7:50 p.m. KO Fox and Beasting TV.
Yeah, Thursday night's not a good night for North Queensland for the Travellers, but look, they were fairly impressive the other night. I think the Sea Eagles are running just on pure adrenaline at the moment, and that's got to fade. I think Kieran Foran, it's just his presence. The players, obviously, it was the coach, but they're not that good. Cowboys, and I think Cowboys will win pretty easy.
Yep,
to be
I
perfectly
agree.
honest.
Absolutely.
And also, I cannot understand the Cowboys putting Drinkwater on telling him he can look elsewhere. There must be a really, really something awful happening between Drinkwater and the coach, because boy, oh boy, he's up there in the top 5 or 6 fullbacks in the competition. He's a very, very good player.
Friday football, GIO Stadium in the nation's capital. It's the Raiders at home to the Storm. Hang on, let me just get this right. Now, this will be very problematic for the loser. The Storm going for 5 losses in a row. Is that right?
And I can't recall that happening.
Raiders at home to the Storm, $2.08. Now, what's going on here? Because the Storm are favourites with the betting at $1.78.
Oh, my Lord.
What on earth is
I got no
here?
idea. I would have thought both 195.
Wow, 6 p.m. KO and Fox.
Oh, jeez. Look, I wish Ricky had get off the and
he's on the Finnegan.
Yeah, someone buy a heap of plastic chairs and line them up around Rick and
give him some lollies.
Yeah, give him something on. Give him something to stir up the possum a bit, because that's what's totally lacking. Look, I really don't know. I really don't care that much. But look, at home, cold. Yeah, Raiders. I'll go Raiders.
Yeah, I think Raiders. Absolutely. The other Friday game, we're at TIO Stadium. We're taking another game to Darwin, as we seem to do each year. It's the Dolphins playing a home game against the Pennies. $4.90 to Dolphins, $1.18 the Panthers, 8 p.m. KO Fox and Beasting.
Well, you heard of games of attrition. This will be one of attrition. You imagine the humidity up there is going to be about 98%. And, I really don't know who's going to survive that. I would most likely, as much as I'd like to pick the Dolphins, they look good for a while, but they seem to just lack the 80-minute game at the moment. I'll have to go for the Pennies.
Panthers in a lather of sweat.
Yeah, to be brutal.
Enjoy. Super Saturday. It's the Warriors at home to the Titans. Go Media Stadium in Auckland. 3 p.m. You'll see this on KO and Fox. The betting here, $1.32. Favourites, the Warriors. Titans at $3.42.
You do remember who picked the Titans last week too, don't you?
I do. Threw a dart and got up. Well done.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I said
Let's hear you do it this week.
They had played much better against the Bronx than what people thought. Yeah, the right Warriors were around the place last week. Which one turns up this week at home? Look, at home most likely is a little bit better for them at home, but what are you going to do, Bronc? What are you going to do? Let's go.
Oh, come on.
Warriors.
Warriors.
Yes, okay.
Super Saturday rolls on. We're at Accor Stadium. Rabbitohs at home to the Dragons. $1.22 plays $4.25. 5:30 p.m. KO and Foxtel.
I don't know why, or look, if ever there was a team that just hasn't got a clue what they're doing, I mean, the poor old players, they got no idea. I mean, the coach is just a complete lather of sweat, and I think that he's doubling up on his medications, absolutely, because he's making some statements that are rather vague and what have you. Look, you couldn't back St George against a well, I don't know, let's say Withcott 13.
Withcott's in Queensland, for those that don't know.
Yeah, it is for those of you who don't know. It's a little quiet little
Very
town
little.
of about, I don't know, 15 people. So we'd have to, there'd be 2 reserves.
3/4 of them are at the pub. Yeah.
Well, get them out of the pub. Yeah, I think they do as well. And look, Bunnies by 10 million.
After that upsell, it'd be highly embarrassing for me to go for anything other than Rabbitohs, I suppose. All right, we'll do that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Sorry, Flano. Super Saturday wraps up at Campbelltown Sports Stadium. It's the Tigers at home again to the Broncos. 7:35, KO and Fox. The betting here, $1.52 favourites the Tigers. Broncs, $2.52. Yeah,
well, I don't know. There was at one stage last week I was starting to get some messages from my contact at Red Hill to
lace up,
see if I could find a pair of boots. And
you always seem to find someone.
Look, I'm going to take a risk and say that maybe the Tigers are starting to read some of their own newspapers and telling themselves how good they are, and they're playing like absolute pearlers. And I enjoy the way they're playing because it's total entertainment. But look, I'll go for the Broncs just for the sake of, I can't possibly understand that I would ever see the Tigers short price favourite against the Broncos.
See, for a decade, I've always told you on Alfred most weeks, get on the Tigers, they'll come good.
Yeah. Well, they've always been that little soft spot of yours, haven't they?
Yeah, well, I'm sort of a loyal fella. I'm a loyal fella.
Well, not particularly, but anyway, you believe what you want.
You bastard. In saying all of that, Broncos.
Oh, Jesus, put the kiss of death on us. Thanks very much.
I can only be loyal for so long. That's the point.
Yeah, well, gee, that lasted a while, that long.
Sunday football. Sometimes you've got to be a realist as well.
Oh, dear. Yeah.
Okay. Allianz Stadium. Roosters at home to the Knights. $1.29 plays $3.62. 2 p.m. KO and Foxtel.
Well, that was a sort of a come back to earth proposition last week, wasn't it, for the Knighties? I expected much more because, things they'd been going all right. And, the ginger fell out of that pretty smartly. Look, you've got to go for the Roosters, really.
Home ground advantage.
Sorry,
Roosters.
Bobby.
And to wrap us up for round 7, 4:05 p.m. Sunday afternoon, Land Shoes and Iced Vovos. Oh, dear.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Combank Stadium.
For this one.
Eels v Dogs. It's $4.45, playing $1.21. KO Fox and Beasting TV.
Yeah, look, whoever it is that's playing them, I'm going for them.
Well, I won't be taking the Eels any week, so that must mean Dogs.
It must be, yeah.
And the Sharkies get 2 for, I don't know, eating chips and gravy this weekend and chillaxing.
Oh, that's right. You get 2 for free.
Yeah, and we could do with it.
Hey? While they're down at the beach and sucking on a couple.
Good luck and good punting.
Everybody. Hooroo.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.